I have few questions for you today. Few questions. First questions. What's your answer to my questions yesterday on the video where I asked you what are some of the things that you could do to strengthen your connections with others? I quoted Mother Teresa, who says that when there is no peace, that's usually because we don't feel belong or connected. We lost our connection or belongingness. What are some of the things that you might be able to do to enhance, to strengthen your connections with others? Second question for you. What do you think about this moon background here? This is a full moon today, yesterday, today, full moon. And so what do you think about this full moon background here that I have? Is it too yellow? It's gonna look a little bit like egg yolk perhaps to you, or perhaps the way it's set up maybe make me look a little bit like a witch. What do you think about this full moon background? Third questions. Do you judge? And whether you consider yourself judgmental or you judge things or not? What is the definition of judge to you? Judge definitions, according to the dictionary, is actually to create an opinion. So if your answer just now is you don't judge, and when I asked, you have an opinion about this background, yeah, or perhaps you even have an opinion about me, then you create opinion, you judge my background that I'm using today and yesterday, you judge me. Perhaps you say, hey, your hair look nice. Or perhaps you say, hey, your hair one side not flipping the same way as the other one, or something like that. Whichever your judgment about. and we know that having judgment, which is actually truly having opinion about things, about people in particular, is actually one of the number one thing that creates strain in your connection, in your relationship with others. It's one of the number one thing that will make people don't belong to each other, because you say, oh my goodness, how could you think about that? And instead of this way, how could you say that sounds that the kids making as they're playing and screaming and yelling and laughing and giggling are so beautiful? It's giving you headaches. And then, oh my goodness, look at this new supervisor. How could be he or she so uptight and kind of like, oh God, everything is so tense about her. And she must be arrogant. He must be just unfriendly or something. While we never know what's going on, perhaps if it is a new colleagues that you have, maybe the person simply just very nervous about that. And so one of the things that you can do, and I invite you to endeavor along with me, I'm still endeavoring, is to not judge by not creating opinion. We know that Earl Nightingale, which is the Dean of the Personal Development, says, when you judge others, you do not define them. You define yourself. When you judge others, you do not define them, you define yourself. So think about the example I just have just now with the kids. If you enjoy the sound of kids playing and laughing and giggling and so forth, then you define yourself. It's actually come from you enjoying those things with the whether you enjoy being around children or you at least enjoy the sound. And if you actually dislike the sound of kids playing and laughing and so forth, and you prefer quiet kid, for instance, then that's the same thing. It's define you and what you like or dislike. And so at the same time, we being human, we have this tendency to say, oh, they are this way and that's that way. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like that. In the personal development, there's very interesting things of this, of us being kind and being open-minded. And then when somebody do something we don't like, we say, oh, they are unskillful. They're unskillful. Have you ever heard a coach saying this? You might even heard me say that in the past, in particular, where those are unskillful behavior. They're just being unskillful. They're unskillful. If you're around life coach enough, you probably noticed one of them saying, they're being unskillful. What is unskillful? Judgment. Now I just express my opinion about that, apparently. But you could also simply say, I don't like their behavior. I don't like what they say. I don't like the sound of a kid or something like that, instead of some in a different manner. And so when you put it on yourself, instead of they are this way, that she is that way, he is this way, then you take the weights from them and put it back with you. It is what you like, what you don't like, what you feel, what you think. Now, you in general has a freedom to think and to feel whatever you want to think and feel. And at the same time, if you put your thoughts on others, that's when it can strain relationship. So I invite you to today, perhaps just notice, when is it when you possibly, because you dislike or like something, you actually create an opinion about somebody, and then that is actually I invite you to just recognize that you judge the person. Now perhaps you judge in a favorable manner. There are times when you can judge in a favorable manner, but there are also possible times when you say, why is that person doing that? And when we do that, we actually know that when you say, oh, why is that person doing that, there is a saying that a hook cannot reach anything if there is no anchor in there. So in other words, the only reason something can bother you is actually there's something in you for that things to land on. And so I invite you to simply just today, perhaps this evening when you go to sleep, to just explore and say, in which way can I be acknowledging that it is my preference, your preference on things, instead of whatever that the person's doing, instead of he's this way or she is that way, and you seem or saying this person is skillful or unskillful, then simply just say, well, that behaviors, I don't prefer that behaviors. Well, that kind of words, I prefer much better this kind of wording. And please share in the comment below if you ever have an experience like this, and then you realize that, oh, actually I was judging somebody. And perhaps you'll share in the comment below, what practice have you embraced to enhance your connections, and to be, perhaps if it is something you've done, to be less opinionated, which is the other word of being less judgmental on something. And please share in the comment below if there are if there are connections that you feel that you would love support on being able to make it even more wonderful. Well, welcome to reach out to me directly if you'd like to. And this is Bridget with Joyful Riches Beyond Grief, and I love you very, very much. So welcome to share your feedback in the comment below, and to share this video if you'd like to. And I see that as you embrace this, you create an even more beautiful, peaceful, connected life, and creating one beautiful day at a time, and a whole beautiful, thriving life. And if you'd like this video, please click like. And if you love this video, do please also click subscribe, so you continue to receive updates on similar video that will allow you to become more and more empowered in creating your awesome, beautiful, magnificent, thriving life. And I look forward to see you again.